Today I have Scarlett Lewis with us. She is the founder of Choose Love Movement. Um, the work that she's been doing across the country and in thousands of schools is amazing, and we would love to hear more about it. But at the root of the work that you're doing is courage to speak about love and making choices that are grounded in love. Scarlett, thank you for being here. Could you tell us more about your experience with Choose Love Movement and Courageous Conversations?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Nichelle, for having me here today to talk about courage, one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
I founded the Choose Love movement following the murder of my 6-year-old son, Jesse McCord Lewis, at Sandy Hook Elementary School, where he died in his first grade classroom alongside 19 of his classmates and 6 educators in one of the worst mass murders in U.S. history. We were talking about courage, so I'm just going to start with this. Jesse showed incredible courage during his final moments when he stood up to the shooter, who was a recent graduate of the school system, and saved 9 of his classmates' lives before losing his own. And that really, along with his older brother's response to the tragedy, really those are my models for how courage came into my life, the awareness of courage, the focus on courage. You see that we have a formula, and it starts with courage, because courage is such an important part of our lives every single day, to do the right thing, to tell the truth, to wake up in the morning with gratitude, to put our best foot forward in so many different ways. And it really helps when you're aware of it and you actively practice it. Science tells us courage is like a muscle, that we can actually practice it to strengthen it. And you have to be aware of it in order to do that.
Yes, and I love all those words are character-based words, so you wanted to make sure that you are experiencing those. And the work that you're doing is based in SEL and character, and the work that we're doing with Grow is based in some data and just using data to determine what's going on in your environment and your climate and your culture. And data is not always our friend, and in terms of it scares us, what the truth can scare us. So we say that when we come together with data and looking at it, we need courage. And the work that you're doing, can you talk about some of the courageous things you've seen, or when courage was needed, just when looking at truths?
Oh my goodness, especially now. With, I started this movement 9 years ago, and, it was a vastly different world than it is now. I don't think, not in my life has it changed so much. I mean, we've had a worldwide pandemic, and now we literally, Nichelle, have front row tickets to the best, but also the worst of humanity. And I'm talking about what's unfolding in front of us in the Ukraine. And, when I was young, I think that we were better able to shield our kids from what was happening in the world in some cases. But this instrument, this device, provides information to us and our children 24/7, and with a flair for the negative, and the more dramatic headlines. And so, with the lockdowns, we were in, having a social distancing mandate, and I often say, what's wrong with that picture. And it's that we're social creatures.
Right.
We need each
Yeah.
other. We can't be separated, or we suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh my goodness, there's never been a more poignant time for the focus on courage than right now in our individual and our nation's history. There's been so many. I mean, you know, before we were moving into this really tumultuous time, there were so many incredible examples of courage from educators, parents, and students. Educators that would be teaching in at-risk classrooms, and just the stories, the practice of self-compassion, so that they were able to be present for these kids who had really incredibly heartbreaking things that they feared every day, that were going home into situations that were dangerous. And you know, being an educator, which I have learned to realize in the past 9 years, since starting Choose Love, that our educators are our modern day superheroes. I mean, these are people that had these little lives, our most precious asset, and they can't control all of the things in their lives, so they can only control themselves and the love that they give, really, and hope that sustains them. I just had a talk with our director of professional development, and she was saying that 20 years ago she was in an at-risk classroom, and she had a hard time being present with the pain in that classroom, and it kind of led her to do some destructive things to herself before she realized, I have to be whole so that I can be present for my kids. I mean, just that takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
And you know, she got a message through Facebook 18 years later from one of those little kids who had now become a teacher because of Julia.
That's awesome.
You know, I remember you. I remember what you gave. You had a tremendous impact on my life. I've never forgotten. It's why I've become a teacher, because you gave me so much. And it's interesting because during that time, Julia thought that she was just surviving and absolutely giving her best, but that she could do better. You know, I think that we can't underestimate the impact that we have on the world. And, you know, it takes courage to be out there. Every single educator has this tremendous amount of courage just to show up every day with their best foot forward, be present with their kids, and give their best.
Absolutely. I love the stories where you hear from your former students, and they say, just by doing your job, just by showing up, you made a difference in what my trajectory, where I was going, and my choices. So I love that story. I have a few of them, and I hold them dear. And it does take courage for our educators to be present today. And one of the things that Grow does is to give them a space to really reflect on where they are and how much gas they have in the tank to do the work, and then where and how they can fill up. So that's through data, through reflection, through looking at how they're reacting and socializing with their environment. We think about office and how we interact in our offices with people, but schools are offices and work environments, and we want to make sure that we have a family or a respect and the same purpose with our coworkers. So yes, just knowing that if everybody's on the same page to just do their best and build relationships with the students, even in the face of something else, that's courage. I love how you said that's courage. So
absolutely. And having the courage, here's my shirt, to choose in all day long, in every interaction, in every situation, how we thoughtfully respond. We can choose how we thoughtfully respond. And we're either choosing from a base of love or fear, and the outcome looks vastly different. So just reminding each other, reminding ourselves. I know that every word that comes out of our mouth, every thought that we think impacts us on a cellular level. So it's either leading us towards languishing or flourishing. And those thoughts become our words. And so our words are feeding ourselves and they're impacting others around us. So having the courage to really be self-aware, to listen to what we're saying. You know, a lot of people I've been noticing about this is making me sick. You know, that makes me sick. Oh, I hate myself. Oh, just shoot me. I mean, all of these things that we say. And when you're really present and you start listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth,
Yes.
or maybe coming out of your coworker's mouth, we have this thing at Choose Love that we just kind of very gently say, hey, Nichelle, that doesn't make you sick. That makes you strong. And so you can start changing that dialogue.
Yes.
And of course, it takes courage for me to say to you, hey,
So
you know,
true.
do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? I want them to nourish and support you. Let's change that sick word with strength, or,
Yes.
or grateful, or connected, or whatever you want it to be.
That's so true. I love that one of our citrus team members, the director of Grow, Suzanne Bracci, did a webinar and she had us talk. I mean, she presented how your thoughts and how you decide to think about things and challenges in particular can change how you deal with stress, how you where your stress levels are, and of course knowing yourself it helps. But I definitely encourage anybody to check out that webinar, and I definitely see why I just I love you, Scarlett.
I know I love you too.
I just love the work that you're doing, and I think that you're an amazing person that can take what you're going through and just inspire so many other people. I mentioned some awards that you won, and we both agree the awards are nice, but it's really about being recognized for the work that you're doing and the work that's impacting and changing people, and you are doing it. You and your organization are doing that, and I appreciate it so much.
Ah, thank you. I mean, I think the most important thing that we can offer our children right now are
Mhm.
the essential life skills that they need to face what is going on in their world, but in the greater world around us, over which we really have no control. How they can face that and understand, rather than resist and avoid, and
Mhm.
maybe even numb themselves, how they can understand that that is actually an opportunity for learning, for growth, for strengthening, and
Mhm.
then and then taking that wisdom, that lived experience, and using it to help other people. I mean, that's how we're trying to navigate our youth, both with your organization and with mine. And what a gift to give them, that they can take the difficulty, because we all feel pain, we
Yes.
all suffer. I mean, I love to say we all have love in common. We all have a want and need to love and be loved, but we also all feel pain and we
Mm.
suffer to a certain degree. And so to be able to offer the ability to face any difficulty that comes in your life and use it as an opportunity for growth. Now that is something that could change the world, and is reflective of the world that I want to live in, where people choose love over fear and hatred and resentment and frustration.
Well, I think you said it well, and I'm going to end it with that. Choose, let's have a world where we choose love And thank you for starting the Choose Love movement.
Thank you so much, Nichelle.
You're welcome.